Knowing how to officially create Amazon KDP books is one of the highest leverage skills that you can learn. So in this video, I'm going to show you a number of strategies that I've personally used to sell almost $1 million worth of Amazon KDP books online. I'm going to show you where you can find free pre-made interiors, how to make your own unique interior, how to use AI to create coloring books, how to make activity books in just a few clicks, and how to make a KDP book cover. Now this video is actually taken from my full 3.5-hour free Amazon KDP course, which I've broken down into separate videos in this playlist to make it much easier to digest. So once you're finished here, have a look through that playlist and find exactly which part of the Amazon KDP process that you need help with, and there will be a specific video for that. But for now, let's jump straight in with this video.
So in this section of the course, I'm going to take you through how to actually start creating these Amazon KDP books. So if you cast your mind back to the first video of this course, I mentioned that in order to actually create a KDP book, you need to produce two files, a book interior file and also a book cover file. So your book cover file will look something like this, and then your book interior file will look something like this. So in this video, we're going to start off with creating the book interior files, and actually where you can find free interior files to literally go ahead and copy and put them straight into your KDP books without you having to do anything really yourself. I would generally recommend always making changes to these, A, because of KDP content guidelines, and B, because if it's so easy, if you just go ahead and copy and paste a template, then somebody else is going to be able to do it easily as well. But I did just want to include some free templates in this video before we go into the next video, where I'll show you how to start making bespoke interiors. So a great place to get free KDP interiors is bookbird.io. Just go over here and then go to their template section and then go to free interior templates. They have an option of low content book template, coloring book templates, and also no content book templates. I would generally recommend avoiding the coloring book template section, only because I don't think these are particularly high quality coloring pages. And with things like Midjourney and DALL-E, you can easily make much better quality ones yourself. However, things like the no content and the low content templates are still useful. Generally, I always recommend publishing a little bit more complicated stuff than just blank line journals. These absolutely used to work 3 or 4 years ago, especially when I first started KDP. My first few sales were from line journals and that kind of thing. But just being completely transparent, that is not where the money is in KDP anymore. You have to be producing higher content stuff than just this, generally speaking. But I do think these are very good to learn how the whole KDP process works. So maybe creating 5-10 lined interiors are a really good way to start and just go through the whole KDP process just to learn exactly what you need to do to actually bring a book to life, from maybe just a file to actually having it live on Amazon. So I do think these definitely have a place in Amazon KDP at the moment still. And to download them, it's super simple. Just go up here and then click this button and then just follow the download instructions. The low content book templates are a little bit better. So there's a little bit more detail in these interiors. So scuba diving logbook, fishing logbook, fashion sketchbook, this kind of thing. So there's a little bit more quality to the designs than just being line journals. But again, if you are able to download these with a click of a button, then generally everybody is going to be able to do that. And therefore the competition is going to be really high and it's going to be very hard to stand out, which is why I massively recommend creating bespoke interiors. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to create everything yourself. You can download elements from this. So if you're doing a hunting book, you can have one section of the book that's a hunting logbook, and you can easily take this from here. You can make your own pages for the rest of the book, so you don't necessarily have to do everything from scratch. So these can also be super useful too. And again, just go ahead and click here to learn more and follow the download instructions. So another great place to find interiors for your Amazon KDP books is a website called creativefabrica.com. Now, what's great about creativefabrica.com, not only do they have endless amounts of KDP interiors ready for you and ones you can edit yourself, they also have almost 175,000 fonts that you can download and over 9 million different graphics. Both of those you can use on your book interiors and also your book covers. So it really is a gold mine for anyone producing books on Amazon KDP. Now, some things on Creative Fabrica are free, but a lot of it does require the Creative Fabrica membership, or alternatively, you can buy individual designs yourself here. You can see this one's going to cost you $1. But to be honest, I massively recommend getting the membership. It's extremely cheap. It's only $47 per year, which works out to be $3.99 a month, which is literally 1.5 book sales every single month. And when you consider this book that I showed you earlier on in this course is selling around 600 to 800 units every single month and has literally been made using things that you can download straight from Creative Fabrica. You can get word searches, you can get mazes. Anything that's in this book, you can easily get from Creative Fabrica. This person has probably paid that $3.99 a month to access it and have made a product that is making them $2,000+ every single month. So I would massively recommend Creative Fabrica. I've just signed into one of my other accounts just to show you here the pricing and how it all works. And if you do want to go ahead and access Creative Fabrica, which I do massively recommend, I will leave a link below this video. Now, of course, not everybody is going to want to invest into Creative Fabrica, but if you're one of those people that doesn't want to invest just $47 a year, you have to understand how much extra time building a KDP business is going to take, because you're either going to have to use those free templates that I showed you earlier, which most people have access to, so it's very hard to get a lot of traction in them, or you're going to have to create bespoke interiors entirely by yourself, which takes so much time. So if I was advising anyone just starting KDP, I would honestly invest in this. It's only $47, gives you access for the entire year, and you're about to see just how much content you can get. So as I say, if you want to go ahead and subscribe to Creative Fabrica, the link will be below this video. But if you just go in here and type in Amazon KDP, here's what I mean by so much potential with this product. So as you can see, there are so many really good interiors that you can download and put straight into your Amazon KDP books. You see this one costs $20, this one costs $8.59. But if you subscribe to the membership, everything here you can download completely free. You pay $3.99 a month and you have unlimited access to as many designs as you want. So let's just click in here and compare the quality of this interior to the ones we've showed you earlier on in this video. This is a prayer journal for Amazon KDP, and you can see here the interior of the book and what you actually get when you download it. This is the kind of file you can download and literally put straight into your book. There is so much more detail than those free ones that I showed you. And this, being completely honest, is the best way to start growing your KDP business, because you don't just have to copy these. You can copy these, merge loads of different designs, put your own spin on things by editing them in Canva, which I will show you in the next video. And it just saves you so much time and gives you a really high quality product. Now, going back to this book here that's making over £2,000 every single month passively, they've included things like word searches, mazes, crosswords, Sudokus. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to get all of this stuff from Creative Fabrica and then just combine all of them to create this bespoke product of a kids activity book. So all you need to do, if you want something like a word search, just go and type word search into Creative Fabrica. And what it's going to do is show you all of the available word searches for you to download. There's almost 20,000 different word searches you can download. Some of them for adults. There are different themes. So this one's a motivational word search. This one's an anxiety relief word search. There's space word puzzles. So not just word searches, loads of different puzzles here. You've got summer word search. You can use this in your kids activity book. So you can even make a kids activity book around summer. More summer word search. You've got crotchet word search, dog lover word search. You can see just how many interiors you get. And all you need to do is literally click on them, download them, and then you can put them right into your Amazon KDP file. And it's exactly the same thing with mazes. We've got 51,000 results when you type in mazes into Creative Fabrica. Funny mazes set, maze puzzles for kids. Maze puzzles for kids, you can edit them in Canva. Unicorn maze puzzles, so mazes in different shapes. You get the idea. So much content that you can get from Creative Fabrica, and you think how long it would take you individually to make all of these pages. For the sake of $3.99 a month, it is an absolute no-brainer if you ask me. And that's exactly what this book has done here. They've invested $3.99 and they're now making well over $2,000 every single month from the activities that they got from Creative Fabrica. So having just shown you where you can find free interiors for your books, or also where you can use Creative Fabrica for your book interiors, I'm actually going to go ahead and create the dementia coloring book that we found during our niche research and start creating that book in this video, and just show you how I use a combination of Creative Fabrica and also Canva to create a unique product. Now, in my opinion, having a combination of both Canva and also Creative Fabrica is by far the most efficient way to do things, because most of the heavy lifting has been done by Creative Fabrica, but the fact that you're using Canva means you can also make it unique and add in some new elements and make this whole project your own, rather than just having the same product that absolutely everybody else is using. So the first thing to do in order to do that is you have to go ahead and make your Canva design. Grab to create a design, and then go to custom size. And we're going to be making an 8.5 by 11 book, which is an A4 size. So all you have to do, type in 8.5 and then 11, and then go ahead and press create new design. Now, annoyingly, because these are books that need to get printed, there are some stipulations when it comes to trim size, bleeds, and margins. It can get a little bit confusing. You need to set your Canva file up in a way that you don't have elements that are going to be cut out when the book is actually printed. So as you can see, it's quite a complicated process, but you can see here, based on your page count here, the different margins you need to add to your books, whether it's bleed or no bleed. So this is quite confusing. So if you do ever get confused with your trim sizes and your margins, then head over to this page here. Just go to Google and type in KDP interior dimensions, and it is this first link here. And you can go ahead and read all the information about these dimensions if you need it. But because I know how painstaking this process can be, what I've actually gone ahead and done is just created these ready-made templates for you. So all you need to do is make an 8.5 by 11 file. I will also do the same for 6 by 9. So if you're making a 6 by 9 book, just create a 6 by 9 Canva file. And if you see below this video, I will leave a link to some resources. And it's basically this, and also the same for 6 by 9. And these are basically just templates you put over the top of your interior. So as you can see, this is a right-sided template because there's going to be right-handed pages and left-handed pages. You need different templates for different ones. So bring your right-handed template onto any right page and put it all the way down. And this basically means as long as all of your elements are within this white section and none of it is touching the blue, none of it will get cut out and you haven't got to worry about any of these margins, these bleeds, these numbers. Just create your 8.5 by 11 file, upload these files I've linked below, and you'll be absolutely fine. So my right page is in here. And now I'm just going to go and add my left page, because every single time you start a KDP book file, the first page you actually have will be a right-hand page. So if you imagine opening a book, you pull the book cover to the left, and the first actual page is a right-handed page. So you need the right-handed template in here, and then the left page template in here. Now, to make this consistent throughout the book, all you then need to do is go ahead and copy both of these, and then just press Command D or Control D to duplicate all of these until you're happy with the number of pages that you have. For this page, we're going to have 100 designs, so we need to have at least, we're going to have 50 designs, so we need at least 100 pages in there, and that's going to be absolutely fine. So every odd number here is going to be a right-hand page, and every even number is going to be a left-hand page. So now we've got the boring bit out of the way, we have our book dimensions and everything in. Let's go ahead and actually start adding in some of the content. Now, before we go ahead and do that, I just went to ChatGPT to make sure that I'm covering all the areas that I need to. So because I'm making a coloring book for seniors with dementia, there might be some certain things I need to include or be aware of. It's quite a sensitive topic for some people, so I need to make sure this product is actually delivering what the customers want from it and actually provide a good experience for those who are using it. So I just went to ChatGPT and said, I'm looking to create a coloring book for seniors with dementia. What things do I need to include / be aware of? And just lists a couple of things to be aware of. The designs need to be simple and clear. There needs to be large print, familiar themes. So familiar nostalgic themes like nature, animals, household objects. Consider seasonal themes if you want to. Positive and uplifting imagery. This idea that all the images need to be positive, no doom and gloom. So these are things that I was already aware of anyway, but it's nice to just double check with ChatGPT to make sure there's some things you haven't missed out on, because it can easily pick up things that you might not have thought about. So we're happy with these, and basically what I'm seeing from this, the designs need to be simple and clear, they need to be large, they need to be familiar things, nature, animals, even something like food would be great, and also positive and uplifting. So they're kind of the 4 criteria we have for our images. So all I've done is gone to Creative Fabrica and typed in some bold and easy coloring pages with a number of themes here. So the first one I typed in is food coloring pages. And as you can see, we've got some really happy looking food pages that are definitely going to fit the criteria we need for this book. And because I have already subscribed to Creative Fabrica, all I need to do is go ahead and just press this download button and I have full access to all 150 of these images. So as well as food coloring pages, I thought it would be a good idea to include flowers, because they're quite positive, they're nature, everyone can kind of relate to them, especially if you're in the older generations, and they can look quite nice colored in. So as well as having food images in there, I'm also going to have flowers. So I can go ahead and download this file, which gives me 443 different interior pages for all of these different flowers. And then finally, I've gone for animals. So the 3 main things we're going to have in here are animals, flowers, and also food. Uplifting and quite happy. So I'm also going to go ahead and download this file here. Now, a really key thing that we've done here, which is very clever and actually is how you stand out from a lot of the competition, is rather than just seeing this file and thinking, oh, this is great, 234 bold and easy animal coloring pages. Let's just make a bold and easy animal coloring book, and then just go ahead and download all of these and just stick them in a file, upload it to KDP and expect to see sales. As you can see, all of these different people have added this to their favorites, and even more will have downloaded them. So many people will be doing exactly the same thing, have exactly the same images in exactly the same order. And then you're just competing against so many different people with exactly the same product. The only thing that's going to be different is your front cover. But where we've been clever is we're going to end up combining 3 individual files into one interior. We're not going to use all the images in all of them because that's going to be something like 600-700 pages. But we're just going to take the best ones from each file and then start having a combination of food, flowers, and also animals in our books. And nobody else is going to have that. Most of them are going to be lazy, just take these exact files, stick them in a book, upload them to Amazon KDP. But we're being a little bit different and we're differentiating. And also, this is why niche and keyword research is so important to Amazon KDP, because you can use exactly the same files as other people, which is what we're doing with Creative Fabrica. We're using the same files that most people have, but rather than being lazy and just uploading this as a bold and easy animal coloring pages, we're packaging this whole product up completely differently and targeting another section of the market. So 99% of people are going to be competing against animal coloring pages, in flower coloring pages, in food coloring pages. We're not competing in any of those niches at all. We're actually competing in our own complete blue ocean niche. And that is why I always stress it's so important to do your niche and keyword research first, because once you know the exact product you're trying to bring to market, you then just have to find the interior that fits that. So while everybody else is scrapping it out, competing for flower coloring pages, animal coloring pages, and food coloring pages, driving the prices down, massively reducing their margins, we're just away chilling in a completely different niche, yet we're using exactly the same resources as they are. We can charge more for our book, we can have so much less competition, and because we've done our niche and keyword research already, we know that there is demand for this book. And people are going to end up buying it, and we're just not going to have any issues when it comes to competition compared to if we just go ahead and download these as their individual files. So hopefully you can see now why niche and keyword research and the need to be data driven using tools like self-publishing titans is absolutely essential in KDP. So back now to our actual interior file, and all you need to do once you've downloaded those is go to uploads and then just press upload a file and then select the one you've just downloaded. And then once they're uploaded, or in this case uploading, all you need to do is click on them, drag and drop them into the file, make it the size that you want them to be. And it is simple as that. That is our first coloring page here. So that's our first one, which is an elephant. And because you can see it's inside these blue margins, everything is absolutely fine. You may notice that this actually isn't technically in the center of the Canva page, because you see it here is the center of the page. You can put that in if you want to, but you need to make sure ideally it's in the center of this blue lines, because that's ultimately how the book is going to look when it comes out. Very fine margins, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but just make sure your elements aren't overlapping into the blue. Then all you need to do for each of these is go in and just continue adding in loads of different animals. So you can see we've got a tiger here. Let's make this even bigger. And it is as simple as that. Ideally, you want to make sure the images are all pretty similar sizes together. Now, just as an idea, if you wanted to, rather than just having the coloring pages, you can go one step further and add in some text at the top. And for every single coloring page, just describe what there is. So for here, we're just going to go for elephant. And let's make this a nice bold font so they can go ahead and color that in. And then what we're going to do is go to effects, add a splice, bring this offset all the way down to 0, change the color to white, and then just make this even bigger. So what the person can do now who's using the book, not only do they color in the actual elephant itself, they can color in the word elephant, which is just another layer. And it shows how you can, again, make this book bespoke, even if someone, which they won't be doing because they probably haven't done the same research that we've done, is combining all of these 3 different files. They may not be doing this. And this is another way just to make your product even more bespoke and unique to you and ultimately stand out from a lot of the competition. Not only can they now color in the image, they can also color in the word. So for each of these, just go ahead and drop this in. We'll call this tiger. And then just repeat this process for all of the pages. And this is exactly what I mean by using a combination of Creative Fabrica and Canva. Yes, Creative Fabric has done most of the heavy lifting with the image, but we've gone into Canva and added in our own elements here. And it's also worth mentioning when it comes to creating coloring pages, sometimes color can bleed through the actual page of your KDP book. So I always like to add in a second page behind it. So as you imagine, this is a book. This is the right-handed page, and then this is the left-handed page behind it. Just go in here and type in something like page, left blank to prevent bleed through. So we don't want the colors basically to bleed through into the next page, and we'll just leave this here. So actually, if you are doing a coloring book like this, I would generally recommend every single right page is where you actually have your coloring page. And then every left-handed page is just left blank to prevent this color bleeding through, because you don't want to color in this elephant and then the color bleeds through onto the other page, and then the tiger's already half colored in by the time you get through it because the colors already come through the page. So actually, to make this life even easier for us, let's just keep these two as our basic examples. Delete all of these. And here we have page 1, page 2. And then all we need to go is duplicate all of these. And then that's exactly the same size layout that we're going to have for each individual image. And then you can just go in and change each image when you want to change the animal. So rather than having elephant here, go back to our uploads and then just drag in tiger and have the tiger over the top. Make it a little bit smaller just so it fits on the page. And then just change the word to tiger. What's next? Let's go for this lamb or sheep, whatever we want to call it. Let's just call it a lamb. And then just keep repeating this process until you've used all the images in the file. And one thing that's worth mentioning here, if you're doing something like this, just make sure the images look a little bit consistent. In my opinion, this zebra looks a little bit different to this lamb in kind of the style of the art. So I actually don't think we're going to use this zebra here, but just go in and just keep repeating the same process for all of these different animals. Let's put in this cat here. Let's go for that. And then do exactly the same thing once you've downloaded the food file, and also the same for the flower file, and then just keep going all the way through these. So I'm back, and as you can see, I've actually got rid of the text up here. I just thought, because when it comes to adding in the flowers, I don't know the names of these individual flowers. I think they're kind of just generic. So rather than just putting flower above all of these, it would look a little bit stupid. So for the sake of consistency, I've just taken the words out of all of them and just left the coloring pages. So as you can see, I've got animals here, I've got flowers here, and I've got food here, cupcake, burgers, as you can see, and then just repeated that throughout the book. And one thing that's worth mentioning here is always reminding yourself who you're selling the book to. In this case, this is bold and easy coloring pages for people with dementia. So you want to have things that they can relate to. You don't want some really unknown food or some really unknown animal. Everyone knows what a lamb or a sheep is, a tiger, everyone knows what an elephant is. Flowers are very straightforward. Cupcakes are really obvious. A burger, a cupcake again, and an apple. Loads of different things that the person can actually relate to. And ultimately, when it comes to dementia, can also remember. Now, when you are making a book that is sensitive like this, I would definitely recommend doing a lot of research into understanding exactly how to best serve somebody with dementia. This video here is just for the sake of the course and showing you how to put a KDP book together. So make sure you're doing your research and then just do that accordingly. You can get most of your interior stuff, like I say, from Creative Fabrica, and then just go in and add even more elements if you want to in Canva. So just off the top of my head, something you could do is a quote coloring page. So rather than just having just images of these, which is absolutely great to have, you can also include some lyrics to maybe some hymns or some church songs that a lot of the elderly and seniors will be used to seeing. So if you want to do something like that, just go in and type in some lyrics. Morning has broken, which I know is the start like the first morning, which I know is lyrics to a hymn that I used to sing in school, but I also know it's popular in churches too, and probably resonates quite well with this audience. You can go for something like a bold font again here, go up to effects, go to splice, bring this offset all the way down and this thickness up, and then just make the size of this text a lot bigger, maybe something like 140, maybe a little bit smaller than that, 100. And then change this color to white, and then just put in some quote marks so you know that it's the lyrics to a song. And then that's something that people who have dementia actually might be able to relate to. Just thinking off the top of my head, I have experience of dementia within my family. Recalling and recognizing things that they used to do when they were young is quite an important thing. So maybe including something like a quote coloring page like this, where yes, they can remind themselves of the hymns that they used to sing when they were younger, and they can also go ahead and color in the individual letters and words here. So 2 things to bear in mind when you're making your book. Number 1, keep it consistent. Remember, this is simple, bold, and easy coloring pages. So you wouldn't want to have some super complicated background behind here. Let's just keep it blank as it is, and then also have super simple pages here. And then also think, how can you best produce something that really benefits the customer, or in this case, somebody with dementia, Keep it simple and keep things and add in some things that you want to that you think might make it a little bit more relatable. But once you're happy with the interior, all you then need to do is get rid of these background pages here. Go through and individually delete all of these. I'm not going to go through and do it all in one go because that's going to be really boring for you. But you get the idea, get rid of these pages, and then you're very happy with your interior. Then go ahead to share and then press download, and then download as PDF print. And then just go ahead and press download. I'm actually not going to download this now because I'm going to go in and add some more of these here. This is just the one thing standing alone here. I'm probably going to add a section after animals and then flowers and then food. Then add in maybe some hymns and some quotes here that I can add into this book. It's really important when it comes to KDP. There are so many different book interior types that you can make. There's no point me just making how to make a book on KDP because that's just not possible. There are so many different types of books. The idea is understanding how you can get templates from a website like Creative Fabrica and also how you can use elements within Canva. As you can see, we've added in some text. We've changed a different text here. We've added in effects. I'm just showing you how to play around with Canva, and you can ultimately make whatever product you want with Canva as long as you understand the basics of how to use it, which you hopefully will have learned throughout this course, not just from this video, but also in another video in this section where I go ahead and actually start creating the book cover. You'll see loads of different features of Canva that can massively help you with your book interiors. So that is the main takeaway from this video, how to combine something like Creative Fabrica with Canva. Creative Fabrica, as I mentioned, has so many different types of interiors. Let's just go back to KDP and see what else we have. Of course, as I've said, make sure you do your niche and keyword research first before choosing which interior. But let's just say you found that fitness planners was a good niche to go into. Again, you could just go ahead and download this and then add in some own things to yourself. So rather than it just being a fitness planner, you could add this into KDP, maybe add some quote coloring pages with those quotes I've just shown you. Put a cool background that you found from Creative Fabrica behind that. So not only now do you have a fitness planner, you'd have a fitness planner with some motivational quotes and phrases dotted throughout that can just give them a break from not just tracking their fitness, but also allows them to color in some things. Just adding unique touches in Canva, but using Creative Fabrica as the base is the way to be successful with Amazon KDP. Can you imagine having to do all of these from scratch or going in and paying a freelancer to create all of these? It would be super expensive. Or if you were to do it by yourself, it would be extremely time consuming, which is why combining Creative Fabrica and Canva is by far the most efficient and high leverage way of doing Amazon KDP. So I hope you found this video useful and you understand that concept, and I'll see you now in the next video.
So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create completely unique coloring pages, either for your KDP coloring books or to put into your KDP activity books. It's entirely up to you how to use them. We're going to be using AI and we're going to be using Midjourney, and it's actually super simple to do. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Now, the first thing you need to do is actually sign up to Midjourney. So I'll leave a link to Midjourney down below this video, and then go ahead to sign up, create an account. It's very, very straightforward. Follow the instructions and then you will download the app that you need. So once you're in Midjourney, this is what you will see. Midjourney is actually hosted within Discord. So this is the platform that you'll be using. Now, it's worth mentioning here, in order to use any images commercially that you generate within Midjourney, you do have to subscribe, and it's something like just over $10 per month, so which is absolutely worth it in my opinion. When you compare how much it actually costs to outsource, image creation to freelancers, that can be extremely expensive. So $10 to go and make all of these bespoke images yourself is absolutely nothing. If you want to go ahead and get free images, you can see if there are any on Creative Fabrica, but just remember, everybody else will be using those. You're not going to be able to stand out. It's going to be very difficult. And there are also paid options on Creative Fabrica. So if you already have a Creative Fabrica subscription, you can go and download some of the paid ones on there for free. So there are lots of different options when it comes to creating coloring pages, but I wanted to show you how you can do that with Midjourney in this video. Now, also, if you do subscribe to Midjourney, you won't have to do everything in these public rooms. But if you're not, you go ahead and go to any of these newbie rooms, and this is where you can start generating your images. But if you subscribe to Midjourney, you will have entirely unique feed to you. So all of these is just you. There's no one else seeing what you're producing. Everything's much tidier. This chat isn't just going crazy with other people creating their books. This is all you can see. So in order to create an image on Midjourney, it's very, very simple. You have to just go and press / and then press imagine, where it says imagine feature. And then you have to give Midjourney a prompt. So let's just say something like simple coloring book page of a dinosaur, kids, and then put comma, kids, coloring, book, black, white. simple prompt like that. Simple coloring book page of dinosaur, and tell it it's for a kid's coloring book, and then also it's in black and white. So you can kind of break down your description using these commas here. Press enter, and what Midjourney is going to do, it's going to read that prompt and come out with a potential image that you can use, and you have a choice between 4, but I'll see you once it's done that. So as you can see, what Midjourney has done is followed our prompt and created 4 completely unique images based on that prompt. So that is one advantage of having Midjourney over using something like Creative Fabrica or any other free interior site. With those, everybody could be downloading the same files and have similar images. With Midjourney, you can make something completely bespoke. So you can see here, it's going to give us 4 options for images. There's this one, which is image number 1. Image number 2, image number 3, and image number 4. Now you have different buttons below that, U1, U2, U3, U4, and then also V1, V2, V3, V4. What these basically mean is upscale and variation. So if you really liked one side image, let's just say you really like this image number 4, which I think is the best one here, you'd go ahead and press upscale 4. And what that's going to do is just make this the larger version, so you can go ahead and save that file. However, if you liked the kind of style of this second one here, but you wanted to have a little bit of a change, you can go ahead and then just press V2, which is going to be a variation of this second one. Before we jump in and do that, you can also press this button here to have a complete refresh and 4 completely new images. But let's just say I liked the style of this second one, and I didn't quite like the full image itself. I wanted to see similar ones. All I do is go ahead and press V2, and it's going to give me the same prompt. If I want to edit the prompt, I can add some things in, take some things away. But I'm just going to keep the same and then go ahead and press submit. So I'm back, and as you can see, Midjourney has made 4 new images kind of in this same style. You know, it's a bit more simple. There's thicker lines there. 4 images based on that style. Now we go ahead and see which one you prefer. If you liked a certain one, let's just say we like this first one here, which I think is the best out of all these. Go ahead and press upscale 1, and you can see you have your very own image here. Now, before I go ahead and save these images and put them into my Canva file, you can also change the aspect ratio and the size of some of these images here. So just go back to your prompt, and if you finish off your prompt with this --AR, which stands for aspect ratio, and then 2:3, this is basically going to produce similar images, but in the aspect ratio of 2:3, which is more kind of the size of an A4 or an A5 book. So that's just worth mentioning. Entirely depends on the size of your book or what you want it to be. So while that's loading up, I'll show you how you can save your images. So if you wanted to use this image in your coloring book, you can see it's really easy. Simply click into it and then just press a left click and then save image. And then all you have to do is upload that image to Canva, drop it into your design, and you can see here, this is exactly how you get your coloring image in there. And then you have a coloring page. Now it's up to you what you want to do with the page. You can add borders, you can add a title, you can add facts. Whatever you want to do with the coloring book, that's entirely up to you. But the main bulk of it, the actual illustration, has been done in less than 5 minutes using Midjourney. So that's exactly how you can use Midjourney for something like that. And just to show you what I mean by the aspect ratio changes, you can see these 4 other images that I've done with this prompt at the end, AR 2:3. You can see they're now more of like a portrait kind of style rather than just a square. And this is perfect if you want to have an A4 book, because this much better fits the page. So it's entirely up to you how you want to use Midjourney for your coloring books, but that is how you go ahead and actually start creating these images. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create activity books extremely easily using Self-Publishing Titan's activity and puzzle tools. Now, it is worth mentioning that in order to access this tool, you do need to be subscribed to Titan's Pro Max. Up to this point in the course, all the niche and the keyword research tool has just been using Titan's Pro, which as you can see is his Chrome extension and web app. But Titan's Pro Max, of course, still gives you access to this Chrome extension and web app. It also gives you access to another tool called Titan's Deep View. And of course, this puzzle book tool here as well. So it's, in my opinion, absolutely worth it because you can save yourself so much time creating these activity books in here. But I'll leave that entirely up to you. If you really want to start scaling your KDP business and you're happy to invest a little bit more into it, maybe from the royalties that you've already made from your KDP books, then I massively recommend upgrading to this because you have this incredible feature. Now, I showed you at the start of this course, this kids activity book, which is making over £2,000 every single month, which is something like $2,500, maybe even $3,000 every single month from super basic activity pages like word searches, mazes, crosswords, Sudokus. Now, you can get some of these from Creative Fabrica, but if you're looking to make these en masse, it's much better to kind of have your very own way of producing them, just so A, you can produce literally as many as you want, and B, nobody else is going to have the same ones for you. If you do just want to go ahead and use Creative Fabrica, that's absolutely fine, but just make sure in your interior you add in some things to just make it a little bit more unique.
But this is just one step up and a bit more of an investment. But again, it just makes the life even easier than Creator Fabrica would be. So it all depends on kind of how much you want to invest into this and how easy you want to make your life. But let's say you want to replicate something like this using word searches, mazes, Sudokus, and also crosswords. Self-publishing titans have this. And of course, if you want to access this, I will leave a link below this video to give you direct access to this tool. So if you do decide to go ahead with this tool, simply press create a new puzzle. And then you can see all of these different types of puzzles that you can use. So as you saw previously in this one, they had word searches, they had mazes, they had crosswords, they had Sudokus, and you can see all of those in here. Crosswords, you can see here, they have math crosswords as well. They have jigsaw Sudokus, they have normal Sudokus, they have mazes with letters, mazes with shapes, word searches, loads of different things, and it's super easy to make these activities too. So let's just say you wanted to make a maths book for kids and you wanted to go for this math pyramid. All you need to do is click on this math pyramid and then just press generate sample and it'll give you a bit of an idea of how this looks. You can then choose your difficulty, so very easy, easy, medium, hard, very hard, and extreme. It basically varies how many white spaces there are. This is actually pretty difficult. So if you're making this for maybe teenagers or something, maybe go for very easy or just slightly change the difficulty here, depending on who you're going for. But let's just say we wanted to go for this. All of this is generated, it's entirely unique for us. We can change the font, Montserrat, Times New Roman. See what that looks like. That changes a little bit. I quite like Montserrat, so let's go for that. You can change the board size so it has 6 levels. You can change it so it has 4 levels. So it really depends who you're targeting. If it's for kids, maybe make it super easy like this. Or if it's for adults, make it a little bit difficult in terms of the difficulty and also the board size. And then all you need to do is press generate board data. And then you can see your maths pyramid that you just created. And then just go ahead and press download all. So this should download both the solutions and the actual questions themselves. And then just go ahead to Canva, drop in your question page, put it wherever you want to on the page. Maybe you can add in some text at the top and also the bottom, but describing how the whole activity works, add in a border, whatever you want to do. But the time-consuming part of actually creating the puzzle is done. There is also the solution page, which you can put into a solution section at the back of your book. So that's just a way of making lots of these different puzzles super easily. Once you've done this, you can press create more puzzles and then go and create as many of all of these as you want to. So like I say, you can either just do a math pyramid book or you can do a math activity book where you're combining lots of these. You can do a general activity book where you have some mazes in there, you have some word games in there, you have some math games in there. Literally anything you want to do, you can create at a few clicks of a button. And here is a great example of a book that has done that. So not just the one I showed you earlier in this video. This book has also done it, but just stuck specifically with maths games rather than general games and activities for kids. And this book, just for reference, is currently ranked 995 in books. So this book is easily making thousands every single month. And when you look, it's got just under 4,000 ratings at the time of recording. This book has comfortably made 6 figures since it was published because it has just sold so many units. Generally speaking, I get a review on a kid's book, 1 in every 50 orders. So if you just times this by 50, 4,000 times 50, it's about 200,000 units that this book has sold. So it's sold a ridiculous amount. So it shows just how far you can take a lot of these activities. So when you consider this book has sold over 200,000 units, it's probably made about £500,000 in royalty since it was published. Just a $24 a month investment is absolutely worth it. All the activity books that I use and I create, my best-selling book is an activity book and I created it using these tools. So I'll leave that entirely up to you if this is something you want to go for. But that is a great way to make activity books with just a few clicks of a button. And I'll see you now in the next video. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your very own KDP book cover. We've got all our research done. We've got our actual book interior done. Now it's all about creating the KDP book cover. Now, the first thing we need to do is just the boring checks with making sure we have the right sizes for our book cover. So go over to Google and just type in KDP book cover calculator and it will take you through to this site. It is the actual KDP website here, so it's completely trustworthy and has everything that you need. So go ahead and put in the information for your book. I'm just going to go through and put one randomly here. So paperback, generally I use black and white. Paper type is usually white paper. Reading direction, you usually read from left to right. So left page first, then right page. And the measurement units is going to be in inches and our trim size is going to be 6x9. And then for the page count, it depends entirely how many pages are in your book. For the example here, we're just going to go ahead and put 120.
and then go ahead and press calculate dimensions. Now, as you can see, KDP is going to give us some information here, and the main one you really want to look at here is this number 1 where it says full cover. This basically means the file in which we create our cover in Canva needs to be 12.52 inches wide and 9.25 inches high. So before we jump over to Canva and put those in, just go ahead and press download template, and what that's going to do is download an image like this that we can just stick straight over our Canva file, which is super easy to format our book cover. So as you can see, that will just download there, and then you can use that once you're in Canva. So take these dimensions, let's head over to Canva and start creating our book cover. So once you're back in Canva, just go ahead to create a design again, and then go for custom size, change the units to inches, very similarly to what we did for our book interior, and then just put those dimensions in. So the width was 12.52 and the height was 9.25. And then once you've done that, you will see the canvas for your design here. So what's actually going to happen is you have to create a file that includes your front cover and your back cover. It sounds quite complicated, but honestly, it is super straightforward. So now we're in here, all we need to do is go ahead and put that template that we just downloaded over the top. So go over to upload and then just upload that template that you just downloaded from KDP. So this is the file that you would have downloaded, and you can see how easy this makes it for us. Just put this into the top left corner and then drag it all the way down to the bottom. And this is everything we need to put elements within our front and back cover. So as you can see here, this is the front cover of our book and this is the back cover. Read all of the instructions on here. It's very, very self-explanatory what you have to do with these dimensions. And of course, just leave the barcode blank. Don't put any elements over the barcode, because this is where it's going to be put when you upload it to Amazon KDP. Amazon will do everything with your barcode themselves. So honestly, just leave this blank and they will take care of everything else. So I'm now going to show you how you actually create the book cover itself. Now you might have noticed the size of this has changed. That's because for the dementia coloring book we're actually producing during this course, it's going to be an 8.5 by 11 book. And the example I just showed you there was 6 by 9. But to get to this stage was exactly the same process as you've seen. But I have actually gone ahead and already created the book cover that we're going to use, and it is this one here. So as you can see, this is the front cover, this half, and then this half is the back cover. And I'm going to walk you through step by step how I went from a complete blank canvas to this final product. Now, the first thing you need to do once you've put your thing here is make sure it is locked. If it's not locked, like I say, just click on here and then press the lock button. And that basically means everything on top can still be moved, yet this background is never going to change. Now, the first actual step to creating the book cover is to put in a background image. So just go over to Elements on the left-hand side here, and then just go ahead and click this square. Now, what a lot of people might be tempted to do is just bring the square up to the top and pull it all the way across, and then you have your background color just set like that. The only reason why this is actually a bit problematic and not the way to do things is because you lose your center line and the way you can ensure all your elements are in the middle of the page. So what I mean by this is when you're putting some text or an element over the top of something, Canva will always reference that element against the layer behind it. So as you can see here, this purple line comes up, which basically means this section of text is bang in the middle of this background here, this orange background that you can see. But when it comes to actually putting this onto our book cover, this is not very useful for us because as you can see, we go for the middle of the front cover here and there's no reference line because Canva isn't referencing this half of the page, it's referencing this layer behind it. So therefore I recommend going in and just putting in two different halves here so you can always reference each side of the page. And now when you see you dragging this around, we then get that center line here. So you can see this text is bang in the center of this half here because this half, as you can see, is just a completely different layer. So we've got this layer and then we've got this layer. So in order to get your text in the middle of here, you then get that pink line appear again. So that is just a useful thing to know. Always break down your cover layers into a front cover layer and then also a back cover layer as well. And for the sake of this, we're going to make them two different colors just so we can differentiate between the two. Now, the first thing I needed to do to create this book cover is get this image here. And I actually created this in Midjourney. You can go ahead and look for some sort of your own designs here. So I just typed in coloring for this example. Let's go for coloring. And you can see loads of different things that you can use. Instead of creating something like this in Midjourney, you can just get some elements from Canva. But I generally think Midjourney is a little bit better because you can just create something, like I say, that is completely bespoke. So to create this, I went over to Midjourney. And as you can see, I used the following prompt. Now, this actually might look a little bit confusing, but you can just go ahead and literally copy this. I found this prompt inspiration from Google. So these are the kinds of images that are going to be within our book. So all I did was I went to Midjourney, went for Imagine, and then just pasted this in. Now, what all you need to do if you're going to copy and paste this prompt, very simply, is this is the thing that you're going to change. Flower in a flower pot with garden background. For some reason, it didn't give me the garden background, but Midjourney, you do have to sometimes be a little bit experimental. So it didn't give me the garden background here. All of this stuff just should be kept exactly the same. And then I just added in at the end, colored in 5 colors, because this was originally just a black and white version, just like you'd see for the coloring pages. And I just said color in 5 colors, just so you've actually got a colored in version of the kind of images that are going to be within the book. Strong contrast, low detail, clean and simple. And then just literally pasted this in. It will give a slightly different version here because it's not always going to produce the same images. But that's all I did, and these are the 4 images that came out. I really liked this first one because it's really on brand with the kind of book we're doing. It's simple, it's easy, it's cheerful, which are 3 things that we needed our book to be. So having this image on the front cover is absolutely perfect. So all I did is I went and saved this image and then just uploaded it straight to Canva. So once I was in Canva, all I had to do was upload this image, and you can see it does have a white background here. But I just went up to edit image and then went for background remover. This is only for Canva Premium to have this background remover tool. But if you just go to Google and type in background remover, there are so many different free tools on there. It's just an extra step that you wouldn't have to take if you have Canva Premium. But if you don't have Canva Premium, you can go ahead and just do that. Like I said, if you do want Canva Premium, I will leave a link below this video. For me, it's worth it, but I understand if people don't want to use it. So now we have our main image on the front cover. It was time to choose the color of the background. And I think really nice, soft colors like this. I really like pastel colors, especially for this kind of niche. It's for, it's really nice colors, easy, relaxing, it's very soft. This is the kind of color I think is absolutely perfect. So I just use this as the background color. And then I added in these guys here just to make it a little bit more fun. So all I did to add those in was go to elements and then just typed in coloring. And, I think I typed in coloring, or maybe pencil coloring. You're testing me now because I've forgotten what I put in. Yeah, pencil coloring. As you can see, we have these guys in here. And then we're just going to drop him here. And while you're doing this, it's all really important to make sure everything fits within the canvas lines. So every now and then, just click your solid background color and then reduce the transparency just to make sure everything is still within the line. As you can see, this is just about. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller and then just push it right in to make sure it's definitely there. Copy and paste it and then put it onto this side here. So I'm happy with that. Let's just increase this transparency a little bit, and actually let's just leave that as it is just to give us a reference as we make our way through. I then went and added in the text behind it. So this was really, really easy. I just went into here, typed in text and then just added a heading. And then I had to choose a font. Now this is going to be kind of a easy coloring book, nice bold and easy kind of images. So I thought that the text on the book cover should be exactly the same. So just click into here, go to font, and I went for this Berthold block font here. I just made it a little bit bigger and then just typed in simple and put this in the middle. That I'm actually not going to do that. I'm just going to copy and paste that because it's just a waste of time. You don't need to see me doing that. But that's pretty much how I got the font and where I placed it in. I then actually went and made this a little bit smaller. So let's just go ahead and do that. Simple coloring. And that was the bulk of my text on my front cover. I then went down and changed this bit, just pulled it in here, reduced the size. And as you can see, typed in Dementia Coloring Book. So I'm not going to do that again because that's very straightforward. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this in here. So this was our original book cover, and to be honest, this itself is definitely good enough. It's very simple. This doesn't need to be a super complicated book cover. I would actually advise to keep it really simple because that's kind of the theme of the book and the whole thing we're going for, which is simplicity, image, no fancy backgrounds, no cool colors flying around everywhere. Very simple, very blocked, and that's exactly what we've got here. But what I did want to do is add in a few extra touches, and I quite liked these stars here. Stars are always a really good thing to add onto your book cover, just to give it a bit more excitement to the cover. So again, just jumped over to elements, typed in stars, and as you can see, so many different options here. And I just used these ones and then changed the color to white, and then just copied it over, just like that. So that's pretty much the cover that I had. The final thing you might notice is just this little bit of texture in the background here. You can see these slightly different colors of black versus the original color we put in. And that is what is known as a sunburst. So if we just go back into elements and type in sunburst, sunburst, that's something like this. And you could put this in just to add a little bit of texture to your background. You don't necessarily have to do it, but I think it's a good thing to do sometimes on books. You don't always have to use sunburst. You can just type in texture. You can see loads of different patterns you can put in, and you can change the transparency. So it's only very, very faint, but it just gives a little bit of texture to the background of your coloring page, and then make sure it is sent to the back so it doesn't overlap everything. So there's lots of different textures you can add. Again, you don't need to add a texture. It's entirely up to you. But I do quite like this sunburst. So I just stuck the sunburst in the top corner of the page, pulled it all the way across, and then made it central. So you can see these pink dotted lines now appear on the vertical section there. So that is bang in the middle of my page, and I just need to make sure nothing overlaps into the other side. So it just went to edit image, to crop, pull this all the way across like this, and the same with the other side, and that is in place. Change the color to black, and this looks extremely harsh now, but it's obviously part of the process. And then click on this, and then what I recommend doing is going to layer, and then you can change this. You can bring it forward, you can send it backwards. So I actually use the command bracket to send everything backwards rather than doing it manually like this every time. But as you can see, every time you click this, it sends it one layer back. So it's now behind this text, whereas previously it was in front of it. And I'm just bringing it back even further so more elements start appearing. And I'm just going to make sure it is the last thing apart from this main block background color. So that's there like that. Then all you need to do is massively just reduce the transparency down. I'm pretty sure I had my transparency down at 2. And there you go. There you have that kind of textured effect to the background, which just makes a little bit of difference. So you can see that's exactly what I've done with this book cover and how I made the front cover like that. In terms of the back cover, all I've done here is just included some images of the type of coloring pages that they can expect from here. The back cover, in my opinion, is not as important as the front cover. Just include some things that, either describe what the book is, so maybe a description section, or if you're not going to use any words, or for a book like this, it's meant to be simple, it's meant to be clean, just include some example of some images that the people can expect when they go ahead and buy these books. Technically speaking, I probably could be a little bit more professional looking with this, rather than just saying 50 designs. I could probably put something else in, but you get the idea just for the sake of this video. So in order to do this, all I did was just remove this section, which differentiates the front versus the back cover. And then I went ahead and highlighted these two. So what this has actually done is highlighted not just the block background here, but it's also highlighted the sunburst. And we want to make sure both of those stay exactly as they are. So go ahead and just press group once you've highlighted both of those. And what that's going to do is group both the sunburst and also the background together. Then just copy and paste this over. And as you can see, now we're moving both elements together because we've grouped them. If you then go ahead and ungroup, you'll then just start moving the top layer away. So make sure they remain grouped, just as you can see here. Then move this up into position so it fits perfectly on the page. And there you go. That is the back cover of our book. You might see a slight kind of indent here. Not really too bothered about that, but you can also just go ahead and increase this to make sure you get rid of that. And that seamlessly binds into the back cover. Remember, there will be a book spine here, so if it doesn't perfectly line up, honestly, don't worry too much about it. Anyone will hardly ever see it. So then for the background, very simple. All I did was went ahead and copy and pasted this text and then just changed the text to 50 designs, as you can see. And then all I did is went in and added in some of the coloring pages. So as you can see, this is the file we actually get when we add in our coloring pages because they're meant to be transparent based on the file we're given. So I need to make it seem as though they're actually part of a coloring page. So this is very straightforward to deal with. Again, just go to Element and then just choose another square and then go ahead and make this white and get rid of this to give us a bit more space. And then just put this in the size of kind of an A4 example. So we're going to go for something like this. We're happy with that. And then go ahead and just put this over the top. Go into the border style here, add some border weight just to give it a little bit of a border. And then send it backwards, again, using command bracket to make sure it goes back. And then just place this image right in the middle. Maybe make this a little bit bigger, and then we're happy with that, like that. The fast way to reproduce this is very, very straightforward. Because we want to be highlighting just this section here and not this background, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and lock this background in here. So now we can't move this or do anything with that. And every time we highlight this, we're only highlighting the actual image and the white box that we want. Copy and paste this over and then just move that to the side. And then all you need to do, once you've dropped in this new image, go ahead and drag it all the way up to this white box, make it a similar size as well, and then just drop that in. And then just do exactly the same for these final images, and then you'll have pretty much what I've just created here. So as you can see, it really isn't that difficult to make a coloring book like this. This one is a little bit simple,
because that's kind of the niche we're going for, but you honestly don't need to overcomplicate your book covers. Yes, you can use things like Midjourney to really spice it up, but to be honest, you don't need to have anything groundbreaking. This really perfectly fits the niche we're going for, and that is the most important thing. We wouldn't have a really complicated coloring book cover for this niche because we're not going for that. We're going for simple, we're going for easy, and we're going for clean, bold colors, and that's exactly what we've got with this coloring page. So all you need to do now to finish it is just give it a title. So we're going to go for Dementia Coloring Cover. And then go ahead to share and then press download and then select download as PDF print. And for this example, because I've got 3 pages in here, just make sure you're only selecting the page you want, which is page 1, or actually it's going to be page 3 for this example because we downloaded from that one I originally did. And then just press download, and that is the exact file you're going to upload to Amazon KDP when it comes to actually creating and putting your book live on Amazon. So that's how you would go ahead and create a coloring book entirely in Canva and also using Midjourney. Now it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. Some people do most of the work in Midjourney, some people do most of the work in Canva, but hopefully during this tutorial you can see the main elements of both pieces of software so you can make your mind up and choose which one you want to do, and also you'll be aware of how to use both pieces of software.
So now that your book is finished, the next step is to start optimizing its listing and launch it properly on Amazon KDP. But getting your book listing and launch right is not an easy task, and there are a lot of mistakes you could potentially make. So if you click the video on screen, I will show you exactly what you need to do correctly, the things that you need to avoid, and of course, show you me doing exactly this step by step.